Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Munce Report ahead of what's shaping to be a bit of a waterlogged weekend. Trainer Chris Munce is here to bring us all the latest news off the back of a weekend double last week. Welcome, mate, and congrats. A really well-deserved win for Goldschlager there and a second victory this prep for stable newcomer Vistabel.
Yeah, I thought both mares raced really well, Adam. It was good to see Goldschlager finally, get a good ride and get a good bit of luck and go her way. And it certainly wasn't before time. So, but the fact that she was able to get out to the mile and finish that off strongly, we put her out on a good note. She finished a prep on a high. So I'm sure she's only going to come back bigger and better when she comes back in.
Yeah, it was a great ride by Jimmy Orman, wasn't it? Really sort of put her into the race, and I guess took the bad luck that she sort of had on a few occasions out of the equation.
Yeah, he did. And he rode her very positively. And it was good to see him before the race, sort of keeping her mind on the job, trying to keep her warmed up and just keep her focused on the job at hand. And she duly saluted for him.
Yeah, well done there. Well done to Connections, Bill and Di, Houston bred horse. And obviously, yeah, as we mentioned, well-deserved win. And then Vistabel, that makes it 2 wins and a second from 5 starts for the stable this prep. And what's next for her?
No, she'll go on. We'll just find another race for her in a couple of weeks' time. But it was interesting, though. I actually rode Vistabel in a gallop with Goldschlager the week before on the Saturday prior. And the two mares, I thought both galloped very, very well. But I thought Vistabel had the wood on Goldschlager in the gallop. So when Goldschlager was able to come out and win, it was actually it was nice to see the 20-1 when Vistabel hit the line. So it was good.
well done, and well done to any of the Munce Racing faithful that might have followed the lead there into Vistabel. It was a good win, and obviously is having a great preparation since joining the stable. So well done to all the Connections there. Also on the stable news front, you're ready to run purchases. I believe they've settled in well to the stable. How are they coming along? The Schwazier Sheer Fantasy Colt first up.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, they're both colts have settled in well. They're both still building their fitness levels up. But the good thing is that they've sort of come into the stable without being overworked and sort of had too much pressure put on them. They've been well handled previously before coming to our stable. So now it's just a matter of giving them a bit more barrier practice, which we'll do in the next few weeks before, starting to get them to a few little short jump outs, 400 meters first, and then begin to stretch out to the 800s and so forth.
I guess that's the beauty of these ready to runs, isn't it? Sort of they've obviously already had some sort of education. Now you bring them into the stable and you can, provided that the horses are handling everything, you can kick on with their education and hopefully get them to the trials and the races in the not too distant future.
Sure. And I mean, I must say the 3 colts that I've bought this season from the ready to run sales, both at Inglis and Magic Millions, they've all been well prepared, well looked after, and they've come into the stables basically ready to go. So, we still got to remember that they are immature. They're only 2-year-olds, but from what I'm seeing at the moment, they're 3 nice colts.
Well, very good. I know there's been lots of interest already in both of these colts, obviously at different sort of price points, different ends of the spectrum. So if anyone does want any more information, you can email admin@munceracing.com.au. All right, well, let's get into the preview. I guess the huge disclaimer for everything this weekend is with all this rain that has already been and what's forecast ahead. I think 10 to 20 mils forecast for the Gold Coast on Friday. Some of these meetings may not go ahead. You've got 3 acceptors for the Sunshine Coast on Friday night, and I believe there's a chance they could change the track here.
There's talk of maybe moving the meeting to the poly track. Probably not a silly idea, particularly with this amount of rain that's coming off. I suppose the only query is the fact that hasn't been raced on yet. I think there's only been limited trials on it, but I mean, that's what it was designed for. It was designed for these occasions, so it's probably as good a time as any to try it out. So, I mean, if that was the case, out of the 3 runners, I'd probably run Jabali Gold. I'd probably let him go around on it because he needs to get going. The other 2, I'd just have to have a think about as to whether they would run or not. I'd possibly run Fail to Mention, but yeah, just have to have a think about that by tomorrow morning.
Okay, sure. Yeah, see what happens with the track. So Jabali Gold came up as an emergency in original acceptors. but looks like he will get a run with a few scratchings already.
Yeah, no, he's got a run already. So, yeah, like I say, if the meeting does go ahead on the poly track, I would suggest that he will probably take his place.
Okay, and then failed to mention, and Burn Jones, as you mentioned, may go around. You got a decision there, but they're also acceptors for the Ipswich meeting on Saturday. Ipswich track currently heavy 10, so I guess same scenario, just weighing up tracks and how they're going. But I guess Burn Jones, he debuted over the winter, obviously had a spell, and then he's been back with a trial and a jump out.
Yeah, he's going quite well. I thought his trials and jump outs have been very good. So the fact that he's drawn one at Ipswich probably makes the decision a bit easier. However, I mean, if the track's heavy 10, he's unknown on it. We don't know whether he can handle it or not, and we don't know whether it's the ideal race to kick him off in. But look, he's got to get going sooner or later. So I'm just probably going to have to talk to the owners and discuss as to where they would prefer to run the horse.
Okay, very good. We'll see what happens there. Then we move over to the feature Gold Coast meeting for Recognition Stakes Day. Feel a bit sorry for the club here. They've obviously done a bit of work to attract more Saturday Metro meetings, and every time they seem to have a Saturday Metro meeting, the heavens open and they get a bit of rain. So I guess we'll just see what happens. It's currently rated. We're recording the show on Thursday. It's rated a heavy 10. There's more rain forecast. So anyway, fingers crossed we can go ahead with racing. You've got 3 acceptors there. Boom Nova is the first of those to resume here in a Class 3 plate. What are your thoughts on her in the wet? We know she has one on soft going before.
Yeah, well, she's had 3 trials, so I would suggest that she would probably take her place. Although, as I mentioned before, it's not ideal running the first up on a heavy track, but I'm pretty comfortable that she will handle the wet. Her first run in a race was on a soft track at the Gold Coast when she ran 3rd to Rothfire and Kisacano. So I would say that she would probably run if the meeting goes ahead. If not, we'll just have to find an alternative. I think there's a Class 5 at Doomben or a Class 4 1200 at Doomben in the coming weeks.
Okay, and obviously she's kicking off her summer preparation and obviously put the writing on the wall, racing in some big prize money races last year on Magic Millions Day and Jewel Day. Have you got future sort of ambitions over the summer with her?
I'd probably head back to the Jewel race that she should have won there last year. She drew 16 of 16 and was only beaten a couple of lengths after doing all the hard work and leading up, and it was only last 100 metres that she was found wanting. So I would suggest that would probably be where we'll head with her at this stage.
Okay, sounds good. Magic Millions Day for connections there. So, all right, let's move on to the other 2 runners, Centify and Polysopam, who are both dual acceptors. They're entered their emergencies in the listed Eureka Stud Classic for the fillies and mares over the 1200, but they do have a run in the benchmark 80 over the 1200 later on in the day. How are they going, and what are your thoughts on the wet for both of these charges?
Well, both mares are going terrific. I couldn't be happy with both of them. I think Polysopam, just on breeding, will probably handle the wet a little bit better than what Centifire has done in the past. Mind you, Centifire's only been on those tracks probably when she's not going as good as what she is now. So I still haven't given up hope the fact that Centifire could handle the wet, particularly, with the way she's going at the moment. She's racing in great form. But I think just on breeding and the way her galloping action is, I would think that Polysopam is probably the better of the 2 of them on that sort of a track.
Okay, fair enough. And if obviously depends on whether we're going ahead, but also track conditions and scratchings. If they would happen to get a run in the feature, the listed race, would you head there? Or
I think I would. I mean, it's these mares up here. It's always good to get a bit of black type beside them if you can, and you don't get many fillies and mares races that you can sort of run them in to get that luxury. So I would probably think that they would go around in it and then head to Eagle Farm in a couple of weeks' time.
Sure. Okay. Well, Centifire is next in line for Runchy's second emergency. There's already been one scratching, and Polysopam follows on from her. So good luck to connections if both mares do get to take their place over the weekend. let's move on to then, we're back at the Sunshine Coast on Sunday, weather pending, and whether that track change to the poly track does occur for Sunday as well. Military Men is the first acceptor there in race 4, a Acutis 3-year-old maiden plate over the 1,600 metres. Larry Cassidy to ride, and was first up for the stable on the 5th of November at the Sunshine Coast in a maiden over the 1,400 metres.
I thought his run was good first up. He got back and he was wide, but he still managed to keep coming on at the end of his gallop. So I think he's in good order, this horse. I'd probably suggest that he will go around if it's moved to the poly track as well. He's another horse that just needs to get a bit of racing into him. Ideally, I want to get him out to 2,000 metres. So he's got to get a few miles under his legs now to get going.
Okay, sure. I see he's obviously by Air Force Blue, which is still a bit unknown, I guess, as far as whether the progeny do handle the wet. But Former Life down in New South Wales did have a couple of runs, a trial and a run on heavy going.
Yeah, well, and look, I haven't really had him on a heavy track here to gallop on. I mean, he's only really galloped on the dirt track here, so and he handles that quite well. But it'll all be a little bit of a learning experience for us. But at the end of the day, the horse needs to get a good solid gallop into him to progress his preparation.
Yeah, sure. Very good. Okay, the other runner is Valley of Dreams, who's set to kick off her preparation, her fillies and mares benchmark 62 over the 1,400 metres. Zach Lloyd to ride. And we do know that she does handle the wet.
Loves the wet. She's also had 3 trials. So, I think although she's running over 1,400 first up, she's relatively fit. She's not 100% wound up, but she's relatively fit. Bit of weight off her back's probably going to help. And so long as she can sort of get the right run in transit, as you said, we know that she likes the wet, that she's a chance of running on that same meeting.
Okay, very good. Well, that's the wrap. Good luck to Connections there. If the runners do get a run and the meetings go ahead, stay dry. Good luck to everyone over the weekend.
Good on you. Thanks, Adam.